Hi and welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Yug.
I'm Matt.
Tonight, well not tonight, but the other day, VURP launches. VURP.com.
Yeah, but tonight we talk about it.
Okay, we talk about it, yep.
Which we couldn't do previously.
Yes, that's true.
Demos in other countries.
New Xbox 360 bundles.
Politics in gaming.
And our new segment. Which, I don't know, I was getting really excited.
Forum answers.
Forum answers. Well, I don't know.
We don't really call it anything, but
we
that's
haven't
what
called
it
it.
is.
I feel like we should have theme music before it or something like that, but...
No,
That wasn't even original theme music.
doesn't have to be.
What was that?
Is that the Spanish flu?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we know it. Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, anyway, so yeah, we have stuff to talk about. Are we going to go through this?
Well, let's start with the forum answers thing, because it's going to be really short. We basically posted on the forum to say, hey, does anyone want to ask some questions? Because someone said, as a suggestion,
yeah,
why don't
suggestions
you guys,
for the. I think after we did that podcast that was rather flat, we said, well, give us some ideas then. What do you want to hear? And
someone said, let us ask questions,
yeah.
and then you can answer them on the podcast. So we did that, and we posted a pinned thread on our forums,
and I think what have we got?
Filled up with stupidity, basically.
Well, look, I'm just going to quickly go through these one by one. We've got Retro Man who asked what we've got planned for episode 100. And I can answer that one. Episode 100 will be live up on stage at eGames.
At eGames, yeah. Will probably also be slightly longer than usual, but
probably
we're not
a little bit longer. We're not totally
deliberately
sure.
We'll
probably have some special guests, and we'll hopefully get a few more people in the audience than we did last year.
Yeah, well, we would expect so, because I believe it'll be a scheduled event.
Last year we had 5, yes, but
they were enthusiastic.
They were really. It sounded like there was 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be scheduled in this time. So,
so rather than just stealing the mics.
That's going to be our 100th podcast. So if anyone's in Melbourne and you're at eGames, be sure to stick around to the very last hour, because we'll be the last one.
Because that's us.
As everyone's leaving. That's right. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Has that worked for you? Well, yes, because me and Matt,
clearly
friends.
not friends.
Yeah. I'm just going to skip anything Joby says.
Because it's not worth mentioning.
Sniper asks, how about Skype calling episode? No, we're against Skype.
For a couple of reasons.
Do tell.
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. One being that it doesn't sound very good, and we've got to record it.
It doesn't sound as good. I think we've found that you lose a lot of the dynamic by having an interview or conversations with people when they're not there. Listen to other podcasts, any other podcast where they do it over Skype, and it just feels like something's missing. They all feel a bit flat. Whereas here, I'm looking at Matt. I can gauge his reactions accurately to see how far I can push him.
Which is usually fairly far, but sometimes just a little too far.
Sure.
And the other thing about Skype is that when are we going to... I mean, this is a podcast. It is not a live radio show.
This is a live radio station, radio show.
When are people going to Skype us? Like, mid-podcast? That's not going to help.
We could arrange that. Oh, no, I'm not... I don't think
I know we could pre-arrange people to Skype us.
We could. But to be honest, I just the only interview we've ever actually done and put on the podcast was one we did with Uwe Ball. Who you may know as Uwe Ball.
And who you may know as the guy who hurt video games the most.
We did a phone interview with him, and we put a bit of that recording on the podcast. That's as close as we've ever come.
And only because it was kind of such a coup. And it was actually, and the other thing was, it was actually a really good interview. We really enjoyed talking to him. We don't really support his movie-making career especially, but as a man, he was actually really quite cool.
Funny, yeah. So, there you go. Cav wanted to do a What Are You Playing at the Moment segment, which involved us actually emailing all our team members, asking them all what are they playing. We're just not that organised, honestly.
The other thing with that is that a lot of what we're playing actually has embargoes up to a certain time, and we can't talk about them. That doesn't mean we need to talk about them. No, I know, but how far do those embargoes go?
We are allowed to say we are playing that game. For example, tonight we are playing Guitar Hero 3 on the Wii.
But what are we allowed to say on it
other
than that?
Nothing,
probably
much
nothing
else.
What about it's quite good or something really general? No, that was hypothetical. That was speculative. It's quite good and or bad.
Okay, fair enough.
So
we can't say anything else about it. The only other game I've been playing is the Orange Box on the 360. Portals is brilliant. What? Why are you smiling at me?
I just get this impression of someone actually getting a box of oranges delivered and going, "That's not what I expected. I paid for overnight shipping on that."
Yeah, and I paid over $100 for those oranges.
It better be good oranges.
Better be good oranges. What is? I get a CD. It's not very good value for $100
worth of oranges.
My family's going to starve tonight.
Well, no.
We're all going to get scurvy.
You don't understand scurvy, do you? You don't get scurvy from eating oranges.
No, you get scurvy from not eating them.
I know, but...
Exactly.
So, why...
Oh, you're suggesting someone orders the orange box and they get oranges.
Yeah.
I was going the other way around. I thought maybe someone ordered a box of oranges and they get the orange box.
Oh, I
like
see.
Some country hick sort of thing going,
I see.
what's it?
Terribly disappointed by the
lack
arrival.
Of real oranges, and they go hungry.
In the same area,
but it was the same general theme. We had it going on there, sort of thing. The same, oops, what a mistake. That's funny. Orange box of oranges.
Technically, we had in the same direction, but in opposite ways, kind of thing.
I actually
when you have a TV remote. Bear with me here.
Yeah.
Like when you have a TV remote, and I don't know if they do this anymore, but you used to be able to use the remote either backwards or forwards. It still worked if you pointed it directly away from the screen.
Oh, you are old, aren't you?
I know. In fact, friends of mine had a remote that was attached to the TV with a cable.
Oh my!
How old is that?
Gosh, how long was the cable?
It was 2 meters long or 3 meters long or something. It was moderately long, but you could put the remote on the table in front of you or something.
Yeah.
On the coffee table. But he had to get up. And it had a plug, it plugged into the
I'm
TV.
Genuinely surprised that TV would still be functioning.
That was a while ago. That was about, or maybe 10, 15 years ago now.
Jesus, man. That is a while ago.
I didn't say I was at his house yesterday and saw his awesome new TV, his new plasma.
That would be pretty funny. If you buy a brand new plasma and it's got a non-wireless remote, a wired remote.
Wired remote. What? We didn't say it, didn't we? We didn't say the remote was.
I know. We just said remote. Okay, that went on for way too long.
Yeah, and it got me thinking about the Xbox 360 guitars for Guitar Hero 3. Yeah. That should have been wireless but weren't.
That's true.
That's all I've got really on that. Okay. It just reminded me.
Fair enough.
It must be the same feeling as when you bought your plasma and it had a wired remote. Yeah, but I thought it would be wireless because it should be by now.
He probably bought it in 1960 and he was just happy that it was in colour.
I think so.
So,
I love the fact that they still advertise colour on TVs now. Have you seen that? Look at the
TV.
box of a TV and it's 68 centimetre colour TV. Is there another option? Can you buy them in...
black and white still?
I know you can, but it's still not really much of a sales feature, is it?
No, but I mean, I think...
It's like saying has a screen.
It's more that...
Can change channels.
Or if one person was to drop it, if one company dropped the colour, they would then look inferior to all the other TVs that were called colour TVs.
But nobody's going to look at it and go...
Yes, they will. The power of suggestion. It's marketing.
I'm just not sure that's colour.
Just wait till they start bringing out super colour TVs. Then we're in trouble.
There was actually a quite brilliant scene very early on in colour TV history where someone playing billiards, because the billiards are all coloured.
Yep.
One of the commentators said, he's about to pot the blue ball, and then suddenly realised that not everyone has colour TVs, and said, for those of you who don't have a colour TV, that's the one next to the yellow one. Which was quite brilliant, I thought.
That was back when you were, mid-20s?
I don't remember that.
No, I know you wouldn't, no.
But I did hear the Goons doing a colour radio broadcast.
Who are the Goons?
Oh my God, forget it. Just forget it. No, just forget it.
Is that like the Goonies sort of thing, or
no?
Okay, I don't know. Is it? They're a comedy bunch, aren't they?
Are you scraping towards something here?
They're from England.
Oh, keep going.
Did it have members of the Goodies?
No.
Okay,
it's all gone.
What did they do? It was a skit show.
Kind of. I think that's overstating.
Did they do lots of English policeman skits?
No.
Okay, I have no idea.
I think you're thinking of Monty Python. They're kind of the forerunners to Monty Python, and they were very, very radio and very insane. Spike Milligan was probably the most prominent.
Spike Milligan.
And, oh God, what's his name? Movie Jeffrey Rush. Peter Sellers.
Shine. Peter Sellers.
Day in the Life of Peter Sellers.
I know Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers.
Panther, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. He was the...
Have you seen the movie The Party with Peter Sellers?
No, I've heard it's brilliant. You were telling me it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey, how off topic do you think we can get? Because I think we've reached.
Let's talk more about Peter Sellers.
Did you know Peter Sellers was the only man who could fool a voice print machine?
I did not know that.
He could actually do a voice so well that a computer would think it was a different voice.
Did you know that Peter Sellers, who worked often with Blake Edwards, of course, that did the Pink Panther movies, and Blake Edwards was eventually married Julie Andrews?
Okay, your story. Don't look at me.
And the reason there were no more Pink Panther movies is because Peter Sellers got it on with Julie Andrews.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
I don't know how you do getting it on with the chick from Sound of Music, though. I'd feel a little bit dirty.
I'd want her to sing The Hills Are Alive.
Please excuse me. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment.
And please excuse me. I'm just basically filthy.
He's just a dirty old man. Wow.
Let's get back onto a topic. Let's pick a topic.
Oh
any
my
topic
gosh! I'm sorry. This must be the first time ever that you've actually said, "Let's get back on." I'm always the one.
I don't
saying
actually
we should
want
get back
to.
on the topic.
I just think we should. Let's go to the first topic because that's big.
VURP.com.
VURP.com. VURP.
If you haven't
video game upcoming release
program.
Page. It's not a program.
It's a program.
It's a collection of scripts.
Page sounds stupid. It's a program. Matt and I have a slight disagreement on this, which is he disagrees with me.
Yeah.
What? I don't know.
Well clarified there. People didn't understand what a disagreement was.
I said slight disagreement, and I was trying to be sarcastic and witty.
Ah, I see. Yeah, that went wrong.
Failed miserably. VURP launches VURP.com. If you don't know, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't check our site, it is the place to go to find out when a game is being released specifically in Australia. Yep. We don't do release dates for anywhere else, and all the data is collected from the distributors themselves. Now, just to clarify, some distributors are also the publishers. Yeah. Ubisoft publishes and distributes games in Australia.
Yep.
Activision, it publishes all Activision and distributes all Activision games, but also distributes games for Capcom.
Yep.
LucasArts.
Atari, I think?
No,
Atari. Sorry, not Atari. I was going to say LucasArts, and then I thought Atari.
LucasArts. So basically, a LucasArts published game is actually distributed and promoted in Australia by Activision. So they're the ones that have the most up-to-date information on when a game is actually going to be released. They're the people that release it.
Putting it. Yeah, exactly.
So we've been working very closely with them, and they've all got their own logins and passwords and stuff like that to update all their details. And it should be the most accurate and up-to-date information anywhere on the net for Australia.
Yeah, there's also quite extensive feed systems, so if you don't want to actually go to our site, you can just kind of subscribe to RSS feeds or various things. If
there's a particular game you're looking forward to, if you go to that game page, you can subscribe to it via RSS or email, and anytime if the release date changes, if the information changes, anything changes about it, you'll know straight away.
Yep.
It'll
get sent to you, or it'll get updated in an RSS feed or various things.
The response has been really, really positive with the site. I think mainly because we have no ill intentions here. We're not. No. This site is
not officially.
No, not officially. Okay. What?
Yeah. You want to clarify that we do have ill intentions, but they're down the track, and we've got to.
That's true.
We've got to wean people into the site.
Absolutely.
Then we start charging people to use it.
Excellent. Fantastic.
I
hadn't thought of that business model, but that's brilliant. Let's do that.
It is, isn't it?
Why hasn't that worked with Australian Gamer, I wonder?
Because we don't update it. But basically, if you do go to AustralianGamer.com reasonably regularly and you notice that we apparently don't, you'll probably have noticed that some of our comics have been a little bit behind the times. The reason for that is VURP. It has been sucking a lot of our time. But it's out. It's done.
It is out. It is done. And we only have one other thing that we're working on. But apart from that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. We're launching basically a global empire.
Yes, that is the plan.
Small global. Australia, global in Australia.
But look, please let everyone. We really want people to use VURP. We really want the distributors to keep updating their information. The only way they're going to do that is if they know that people are looking at that information. And we're partnering up with about 15 to 20 other gaming websites to get the VURP feed, the release dates all listed on their websites as well. More websites that have it, the better. The more inclined the publishers are to actually keep their information up to date. So yeah, there we go. There's our sales pitch
too,
for
by the way.
Everything is free. We're not making any money out of this. Matt's worked his ass off.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, actually.
Over the last 3 months. I have worked hard in keeping Australian Gamer up to date, but Matt's...
Hang on. Has Australian Gamer, in fact, been up to date?
Not the comics.
Right.
But everything else, like the content and things like that. Stop smiling.
I've been doing is keeping Australian Gamer up to date, and I'm like, but it's not up to date.
I think I've clarified this before, which is the difference in work ethic between me and Matt, which is Matt will have a progressive sort of line of working.
I have a steady level of uselessness.
I
have a steady level of productivity, which is just slightly below where it should be, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Whereas I tend to fluctuate between extremely high, extremely low. So
which is insane and it's reasonable, but it drives me insane. Actually, you know what? It is kind of insane. It's actually a little bit autistic, I think. I get the feeling sometimes that you're a Down syndrome kid. You just don't have the right eye shape.
I never really thought of myself as autistic. I thought of myself as probably maybe just a little bit manic.
Yeah, there's some borderline happening. There's some definite...
I do honestly feel that I have some psychological problems, mostly due to years and years of substance abuse.
Yeah, whereas...
I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. And I think our readers are too.
Whereas I've been unintentionally living the life of a monk, so...
Yes.
So my substance abuse has been occasional and rare, and not really worth talking about, but...
No, not really. I don't know.
Anyway. We don't know where to really go on that.
Hey, just to let everyone know as well, Game 1 at E-Games coming up next month.
Yeah, they're probably the biggest events of the gaming calendar.
Now, we won't be having a booth at Game 1, as we did last year.
We'll have a minimal presence in terms of reviewing it.
Hopefully. We're going to have people on the show floor walking around, and we'll let you know about that so that if you do go... Find them, bother them, hassle them, annoy them, frustrate them.
Hopefully Oracle will be at the Sydney one.
I do know Carl is going to the Sydney one.
Okay, cool.
And that's good because Carl's had a bit of a low presence lately because of his end of year exams. He's still he's 17.
Yeah, 17. He's our youngest reviewer.
Yeah. But he'll be there. But look, honestly, E-Games is the big one that Australian Gamer is going to have a presence at. We're going to have
thorough presence.
We'll have a booth. We'll be up on stage. We've got Oracle and Brett flying in for your pleasure. So you know,
and
their pleasure as well.
And when we say for your pleasure,
but yeah, look, there's
basically anything you ask Oracle to do, he has to do. That's the price of his flight.
Yes, that's the rule.
And I don't just mean like, hop on one leg.
No. I mean hop on. Actually, never mind.
Yes.
Once again, completely off topic. I'm going to pull it back. We wanted to talk a bit about demos in other countries.
We did. We actually wanted to not have to talk about this, but we do.
The Gran Turismo demo, HD demo, is available to all the people that own a PlayStation 3 in Japan.
Yep.
And it's just weird because if you sign up to your... if you're in Australia, you log into your PlayStation 3 network, but you sign up as a new user... that lives in Japan, you can then download the game.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with is available on the 360. Sign up for a US account, you can download all the games. Eternal Sonata.
Yeah, Eternal Sonata is a really good example. I mean, I played through the demo how long ago? A month? 2 months?
And the demo's only just become available here
to Australia and New Zealand. Now, why?
I think it could be because obviously the people in Australia don't want the demo to be released until closer to the release date of the actual game itself.
All right, so there's a good solution to that.
Yeah, release the game.
That isn't releasing the demo later. I'll give you a hint.
Release the game around about the same or earlier on the same crazy time. Thought. But say they can't. I mean, say
because
that... Because
I'm not going to say that.
Because
you want me to concede that?
Because the version in the States, it's not the PAL version.
I don't care.
The NTSC needs a little bit more time to be transferred over to a PAL version. No?
How long? Give me a date and then tell me why some games come out at the same time and some games don't.
Because some games are a worldwide release and they have the funds and money.
All games are going to have a worldwide release. It's not like they go, oh crap, Europe exists.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do, but they shouldn't by now.
Like Europe? You mean France is in Europe? That's great.
France actually uses something called CCAM.
What's CCAM?
I don't know.
Do I want to know?
No, I don't even know. And I'm a total nerd. I just know it uses something different.
Okay. Anyway,
but I think this.
I think we just wanted to briefly bring that up, and first of all, let anyone that isn't aware of this know, if you do want to download demos that are in other countries, just sign up using a new username says you're from a different country. Lie through your teeth.
I mean, if they're going to do that, we can do stupid things as well.
I think so. Yeah. So, do that.
Also, while you're at it, mod chip your console and pirate games.
Do we support this, do we?
Apparently.
Right.
Why not?
I did notice a whole bunch of people talking about this in the shout box the other day on the forums. Just talking about mod. Oh, yeah, we're going to fire up the emulation software and play some mod.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was one of the comments that we did ignore on the forum. One of the questions was, what is our opinion of modding? Of emulation.
I completely missed that.
Okay.
What is your opinion on emulation?
It depends of what. I support quite happily emulation of things like arcade games for old ROMs and older games and older consoles. And I know that you can play those games now on the Wii and on the virtual consoles and stuff and blah blah blah. But you shouldn't have to pay $10 or $15 for a game that's that old. I don't think. And I think it's a grey area. It's not as black and white as the.
My personal opinion is I used to download a lot of ROMs and things like that. I used to use emulation software, not for any new games or anything like that, but just all for old Super Nintendo and NES games, back when you couldn't get them on Xbox Live Arcade or anything like that. And frankly, I'd still be inclined to do that. I just don't think anyone really cares that much anymore. The real money is made in, I don't know.
No, you're right. The question, though, is what about things like the DS? Which is relatively easy to emulate, apparently.
It is, yeah, that's right. You can get a cartridge for the DS, which allows you to actually... I have a friend that actually has one. Has a DS with a flash card or something like that.
I know of a few people that have them.
It is... I don't know.
I mean, the legality of them is clear.
Yeah, they're illegal. And you know what?
But ethically and legally are not necessarily the same thing. Well, I'm going to go with no. I said not necessarily, but in this case, I do think that's pretty clear. You are stealing games, really.
You are. Look, I'm quite happy at the moment. I don't have any emulation software. I don't use any pirated CDs or games or anything like that. I'm quite happy about that.
No, I'm the same. And you know what? The funny thing is, I actually don't pirate anything because I'm simply too lazy.
Yeah.
BitTorrent is a pain in the ass, and I would rather buy it from the shop.
I am the same. I've gone through that phase, and I'm just over it. Yeah. I just cannot be asked.
Yeah. I would rather pay my $35 and get the DVD and have the nice little thing than try and download something and not be sure whether it's good quality. And
frankly, any game that I hear is not very long or doesn't justify the full retail price,
I won't play.
I rent it.
True.
Or I'll play the demo and I'll find out. And I think for me, it's a bit of an unfair question for me personally because I've now seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes process that happens at developers at studios and things like that, and I feel a little bit guilty if I was to actually cheat them out of that.
Steal their stuff.
Which is, I'm not saying all our readers feel that way because they don't. Well, you might not care. It's like.
Well, I don't care on that level, but. We are a bit unusual, though, in that we don't really have to pay that much for our games. Like, we do tend to get sent them and stuff to review. But a lot of people who are out there, particularly, like, when you look at, say, the DS, is a DS game necessarily worth $70? A lot of them, I'd be very dubious whether they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some of them are, like, borderline puzzle games. These are quite casual games a lot of the time. Are they worth $70?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the fact that, let's say they're not, hypothetically, does that mean you should steal them?
Well, probably not. But
probably not.
I really don't think there's any particular answer for this one. Our opinions are we don't have any, so we don't really care.
Yeah, but it is illegal, and it is.
It is illegal. It is wrong. Don't do it. But we're not going to come knocking around at your door and tell you to stop doing it. So,
are we going to get in trouble from anyone for not being too critical of people?
I don't think so.
Should we be?
From who? From who? From
Nintendo.
From Nintendo.
Well,
what? They're going to get angry at Australian Gamer for not being against emulation software?
Yes.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, because we're not pro. We're not for it either.
No,
we just don't care.
But we're.
Look, frankly, if anyone from Nintendo actually listens to this podcast, give me a call and I'll happily discuss the topic with you.
And also, while you're at it, send us some review titles. Yeah, we hate your review policy.
That's right. Otherwise, we'll start emulating your games.
That's a really good thing to say.
Anyway, moving right along to other non-illegal things.
Brilliant. That's pretty much our standard. We've gone from good to not illegal. That's all we need. Yeah, new Xbox 360 bundles.
Yes, bundles of Xbox 360 joy. I think probably a response to the PlayStation 3's, the new 40 gig version that's come out. And Anna's seeing it at EB. Did you read that? Anna actually saw the PlayStation 3 at EB advertised as new PlayStation 3 dropped in price sort of thing. Or just says dropped in price. It's like it's not dropped in price. It's a different unit. It's a completely different unit. So beware.
They're kind of selling that as and I knew they would. They're basically saying, that it's a massive price drop, which I knew would be the way they'd spin it. Yeah. Because it's not. It's a lower product for a lower price.
But you still do get a PlayStation 3 for less money.
It is actually better value.
It is better value, and that's good.
Because the only thing they've really dropped anyway is backward compatibility, which I think is a total non-issue, and if you argue with me, I just don't care. I'm not referring to you.
I will argue a little bit with you about that, to be honest. I have a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3, and my PlayStation 2 wasn't here.
I get it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the PlayStation 2.
But frankly,
I'm saying that for the price of a PlayStation 2 second-hand at Cash Converters, I'll take the $300. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm paying $700 for something that doesn't give me backwards compatibility when everything else does, and when it used to, as well.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Anyway,
I just don't think that's an issue.
Frankly,
anymore.
Look.
If you want backward compatibility,
SingStar was never actually a backwards compatible game to begin with anyway, so it's not now, so I don't care about anything else.
Alright, valid.
Okay.
Anyway, the only other thing is the hard drive is smaller, which, great.
Considering, the Xbox 360 has a 20 gig hard drive at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And considering there's hardly any demos available to download.
Thankfully,
anyway.
There's no software for the PlayStation 3.
My God, thankfully. I noticed that. I browse the PlayStation Network quite often, and there just isn't that many demos.
Oh, try the PSP then, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's tragic. In fact, I don't know if they've updated it, but the last time I browsed the network, the most recent game was Loco Roco demo.
I do wonder how many people actually use that service.
No one, because there isn't one.
Surely they'd have some stats. Well, that's it. Why would they update it if no one uses it?
No, it's the other way around.
Why would they use it if no one updates it?
No, they should update it so people use it.
You're right.
It's like saying, VURP hasn't got enough people, let's shut it down. No, you build it, you know.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay, cool.
Well, you're just going to lose interest in a week, right?
Well, yeah.
Fair enough.
I do. Yeah, anyway. But the 360, look, there's the new version that's out with the Pro Console, 20 gig hard drive, wireless controller, remote, Forza 2, and Viva Pinata, and that's $580, which is not too shabby. The second one is it's just for the arcade sort of thing. It's the same price, but you get 5 Xbox Live Arcade games. It comes with a 256 memory card. And it doesn't come with a hard drive.
Yeah, it's basically just the core rebranded and with some software that isn't very good. So I don't really know what the point is and why they're calling it an arcade. It's actually a bit kind of crap because even though it's the arcade version, you actually can't really download anything off the arcade because you don't have a hard drive.
Most importantly, the arcade version does not come with Texas Hold'em Poker.
Really?
Yeah,
which quite bizarre.
Which I just think is a tragedy and kind of defeats the purpose of buying the system.
Yes.
If you can't play poker on the Xbox, then you should send it. I need to get poker on the Xbox. That's actually something I've been severely lacking.
I need to get your mum and poker.
On the Xbox?
That'll do.
Why am I laughing?
I know.
Look, anyway, the last thing that we had to briefly talk about, which is not really a topic that can be covered in the space of a minute, which is all we've got anyway.
Yeah.
Politics in gaming.
Yeah, I think we'll just sum that up by saying, yes, there is politics in gaming.
Yep.
There's 3 things that jump to mind about that.
3.
Yeah, but they're all short.
Okay,
One is that the Labor government, I think I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit there, but the Labor shadow government has said that if they get into power, they will look into the 40% or
40% rebate for
the
games industry in Australia.
Current outgoing government has
shunned,
basically just dismissed completely. Yes. They haven't promised that they'll do it. They've just said they'll look into it.
We promise we will have a look into it, which, to be fair, is actually more than the current government has
But
promised.
I remember from my days of being married back when it was possible for a woman to love me that I remember many times saying, yeah, I'll look into that. That doesn't necessarily mean anything's going to happen.
This explains why you're divorced, doesn't it?
A lot of things explain why I'm divorced.
Okay, that's number 1. What's your other 2?
One of the other ones is that there's a really interesting discussion on the forum at the moment about video games in politics in Australia and how they could become.
Is that the one that's brought about because of our latest update sort of thing?
That's part of it.
Okay.
I think it was the thread started before that.
Okay.
It's basically more in response to that what we just talked about.
Okay.
But it's kind of jumped from homosexual marriage to a wide range of other things.
As it does.
It does.
Yep, fair enough. As any politically charged argument should.
Yeah, Hitler's been mentioned. I think I mentioned Hitler.
Hitler's been mentioned. Doesn't that mean the thread needs to close down?
Well, I think Hitler has to be mentioned in a particular context to Godwin a thread. I think it has to be in a my reference was basically that Howard is slightly to the right of Adolf Hitler. So that he makes Adolf Hitler look like a moderate at the moment.
I see. Okay.
I don't think that's a thread Godwinner because it's not, in reference to civil rights abuses and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's sort of in context, I suppose. Anyway, yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, and the third thing was just, our latest update, which is talking about
the lack of R rating.
The lack of an R rating in
because
video
of now, that particular senator. Senator? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his name? Well, actually, I think no, he's not a senator, but he's an MP, and his name is Michael Atkinson. He's
Michael Atkinson,
Attorney General of South Australia, and member for Croydon. If you happen to live in Croydon,
not related to Rowan Atkinson. Rowan Atkinson.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
If you happen to live in Croydon and you are of voting age, I feel dirty for saying this, but vote Liberal. I know. Ooh. I know.
Well,
I felt like I just had sex with a cactus.
How was it?
Actually, nice once you're in.
Great.
As they say about cold water.
Indeed. Cold water and cactuses.
But basically, if you're at all interested in... I've spent a lot of time doing research. I've been wanting to write this article for a long time. So take a look and maybe get some background on why exactly we don't have an R rating and when we'll get one. And I'll give you a little clue.
Never.
We won't.
Or until this guy gets out of power, which is... sad that there's...
He's in like the second or third safest Labor seat in Australia, so
you said
he ain't going anywhere.
Surely, one thing that politicians tend to crumble under is media pressure, right? I mean, surely if we bring this up as an actual hot topic and make it a no?
Nah.
What if it's brought up as an ethical issue? Because it is. It's actually our right.
If
sort of
we
thing.
Possibly phrased it right, it could become a mainstream issue. The only way I can think of to phrase it right is we hear that you have blocked the R rating for Australian video games, thus betraying the will of the Australian people, and you had sex with an 8-year-old girl. That's the only way I can think of to phrase it that would actually get media attention in a mainstream enough forum to make a difference.
Okay.
Because... people just don't care. We care, but not enough people care.
Well, we could phrase it that way.
I'm okay with it.
I have no problem with putting that up.
I have no problem with slander laws whatsoever.
Excellent.
I've researched them extensively, and I have determined that if you can prove it, you're actually...
The problem is proving that.
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
Hold on, is it if you can prove it? Because if you can't prove it totally against it sort of thing, he may have. There might...
No.
No?
You have to be able to prove it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You can actually say anything about someone if it's true.
Right. You're gay.
Damn.
Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Looked into that.
We'll talk to you again sometime in the future.
I'm not actually gay, by the way. Just because I can't get a woman doesn't mean I can get a man. I'd like to think that I'm unattractive to both genders.
I don't think you could get a man either.
No, I think you're right. That's what I was just saying. I actually think that I would go into the beat in my sluttiest clothes, and I would probably strike out.
I have nothing to say to that. I don't want to know about you striking out of the beat or striking in or doing any sort of striking anywhere with any gender ever. I don't want to know.
I'm going to send you a text.
No.
The next time I get anything.
No.